Good evening, fellas.
Howdy.
Hello.
Right.
Oh.
As some of you may have noticed, there is three of us, but our sandwich filling in the middle this week has changed. We've dropped Martin for
Our
the
spread
week.
is not Martin.
Our spread isn't Martin. Our spread is our Frazer. How are we?
Just so you know, Martin is okay. He's just unfortunately busy at the moment.
He had
is
a better
fine.
offer. He had a better offer.
Well, let's be honest, that's not hard.
It's not hard.
But then again, it might be. That's why he's had the better offer.
Shall we start re-recording this?
No, we're
We
going
want to
this
be on YouTube this week.
Nah.
Welcome to season 2. After our impromptu finish of season 1, we had a week off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about last week. Yeah.
So I'm calling this season 2. We'll start a new season.
Makes no fucking sense, but yeah.
Makes no sense. We'll see what I feel
Yeah.
like when I start editing it. Might cut that bit out. Maybe not. Who cares? I don't know. How have we been? How are we all surviving in this heat?
Warm, yeah. And I know there's people around the country going, that's not hot in that country. We don't have air conditioning in our houses. We don't get it this warm that often. So when it does, it's kind of like, you probably know about Brits anyway. We moan about the weather. It's either too cold, too warm, and it gives us something to talk about. Apart from other stuff that we're going to mention.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. We are very tolerant as British. We love a queue and moaning. Apart from that, I think
We
we're
don't
all
all drink tea. Can't fucking stand
No, oh
tea.
God, no. Tea's disgusting. Tea and coffee. Coffee's just nah.
Well, you wash your mouth. No. Yeah. I live on coffee. That's probably why I'm so fucking hyped.
All I'm getting from there is get. Porky Buzzy Pigs come back in again.
Is that? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You just keep going in and out like Porky Pig.
It's still a bit of a crack.
I've never been in and out with Porky Pig.
But you kind of just missing the ears, but yeah.
So,
That's it.
tonight we were going to go on the topic of bullying. And our experiences with bullying. Have you ever been bullied, Ian? I can't imagine you to be.
No. To be honest, when I was a kid, going back that far. If I weighed fuck all. I was skinny, glasses. Right, I looked like a nerd before nerds became popular. So, of mild bullying, I'd say. I'd say ripping more than bullying, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, when kids get bantered, that type of thing. You know, the usual, Four Eyes and Milky Bar Kid and just stuff like that. Really? You're laughing at me? Myself here. This is a form of bullying.
I can just imagine you, with your cowboy hats, your Milky Bar.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know what them leather trouser things that go over your jeans.
Chaps.
Only chaps.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So my cowboy hat, my Milky Bar, my chaps. Fuck all else. I'll have my cowboy boots as well. I'll have my cowboy boots. Yeah, so going back to it, I wouldn't say it was any type of bullying that saw me or affected me. But bullying did go on.
Well, you look at it and you think, is it just like the norm in school? Because like in school when you're around so many kids, they can be cruel.
Oh, kids can. Kids are the worst ones because they got no real filter. They got no boundaries, really. Kids will say things, especially as they're younger. They probably won't realise exactly what they're saying and the implications of it. Or they might have heard it and they're passing it on. But yeah, kids can be cruel. I mean, passing it back on to you two, what were your experiences like in school?
Go on, Fraser. I'll let you answer first.
Well, one time I forgot my bag, coming out of class. So I went to go and get it, and then when I bent down to get it, the lights were turned off. And luckily I was bending down underneath the table to get the bag. But when the lights went off, like a load of chairs were thrown at me. And because it was all dark, I couldn't see where they were coming from. So I just stayed underneath the table. And then when all the chairs stopped getting thrown and whatnot, when I left the class, there was loads of kids all laughing like it was like the most funniest thing in the world. And then I seen this teacher who'd seen me come out of the class, blatantly was just still obviously was still, like been standing there a while. Looked at me as if like, are you going to report this because it's going to make my job harder? So
Okay, I mean, to me, that's a serious assault as much as bullying, and that teacher's response. Well, let's be honest, it's fucking ridiculous. They're there to help and protect your children in their care.
Well, it's neglect and kind of a safeguarding issue, to be fair.
I was about 4 foot in year 8, and one day I was walking through the corridor and I got smacked in the back of the head. When I turned around, the most ridiculous thing, the size, I think you can probably, it's like just an impact turning around and just saying, a year 11, that's about almost 5 foot, like 4, right? Really big, and I was 4 foot and skinny. And he was hiding his face with his blazer as if it meant anything I could see his face or whatever.
Just
It's
being
like,
confident.
yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna hit a really little kid in the head, and then hide my face because, what, I don't know.
I'm going to ask a question here. I mean, no one deserves bullying. I'll just put that out there first. But can you think of a reason why he associates or why he went for you?
Yeah, cause you know that kid that's in there's always this one kid in a school where it's very hard to find somebody that doesn't bully them. That was me. So it's probably like the easiest target in the whole school, kind of thing.
Why do you think? Sorry, why do you think that was then? I don't want to go straight out and say, was it a racial thing?
Yeah, it was a racial thing. It was because I had long hair. It was because I was small. It was because, well, the way I spoke, the way I walked, pretty much every single thing about me. And you know that like little, it's a thing of like when it comes to a kid that like I was, it's a myth of, do you know when people go, oh, if someone bullies you, just punch back or just say something back. Yeah. One time I did punch back and it was like hitting a brick wall and he didn't even move. So then I ended up getting attacked by 4 guys. So it was like, it was meaningless. So it's kind of like there was literally nothing I could do physically. And I also have Asperger's, so I wasn't good socially. So if anybody said anything, I couldn't think of anything to say back at the time. So it was kind of like I couldn't say anything or do anything. It actually got that point. It got to the point because I even got bullied by teachers. And it actually got to the point where like higher ups, even the headmaster and the deputy, just had enough and just was like, okay, so this was like in year 10, by the way. They were like, from now on, you're gonna be on half like a week. So Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday will be a full day. Wednesday and Friday you'll be on half day, so you'll go home, like at lunchtime. Then they changed it to Tuesday to be like half day and I left after the year 10. Didn't do year 11, so I didn't even finish my GCSEs. So I've actually went out of school with no actual qualifications.
What's he done?
Can't hear you.
Frazer?
Can't hear you. Can't hear
Can't
you.
hear you.
Can't hear you. There you go. You're on. You're on. You're on.
Yeah.
You're on.
Sorry, everyone, we're having a few technical issues.
You're there. You're back. You're back. You're back. You're back.
You're back.
You're back.
Speak so we know you're there. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't touch anything.
Just leave it.
Hang on one sec.
Oh, he's going to break it. And he's gone.
And see if I can.
It was fine. Why did you touch it?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We want to see you. Now get your hands up.
Oh, okay. Oh God.
Keep your hands off the iPad.
Yeah, just
back away.
We can leave
back
it alone.
away.
We can
Sit
see
on.
and we can hear you.
Sit on your hands.
Oh, okay, because my alarm went off. My alarm went off and I couldn't hear anything, or everything just went all haywire.
Get off you. Don't touch it.
So, did you hear everything I just said then?
What
not.
reason? What reason was it that they gave you for cutting down your days? What was the main reason for that?
Oh, it's like, I suppose it was, they didn't want to deal with it. One of the teachers actually said that they were going to have the school pay for me to go to college early. And when it came down to doing it, they didn't do it. They didn't give any funding, so I spent a whole year doing nothing. So in a sense, it was more, let's just get this kid out of the school so we can kind of not deal with it, as well as kind of, I suppose, keep the reputation of the school, I guess.
See, that I hope wouldn't happen nowadays. Because that's avoiding the subject rather than dealing with the situation.
Because this was back, that would have been, 2005-ish?
Yeah, 2004 I started secondary school and I left
2007-ish. Which?
About 2008.
Which isn't that long ago, really.
No, you'd think, because I remember being in high school from 2003, and you could get away with some stuff there. You could still get away with a good bit of stuff. But, you think 2007, 8, you kind of you've had all the introduction of all the new child laws and everything and all that stuff. So you would think at that point you would, have a school backing you.
This is from a school that somebody threw a table through a window from the third floor, and all the kid got was a warning.
Yeah, sounds rough.
Yeah, no, it was. You have fireworks going off near enough every week. When it came to October rush.
Gotcha. I remember that. I remember going through that.
Constant fireworks, constant even in class as well.
Yeah, no, I remember. I remember when we were in.
I'm not condoning the school by any way at all, but do you think around that time things were coming into practice that the school didn't know what they could and couldn't do?
It could be. It could be.
As you said there, where some kids really sound out of hand and out of control. We're just giving warnings because they were scared about the repercussions that could come back on them.
Yeah, I think also with all the new laws coming in and all the new the checks and stuff, like the Child Protection Act and all that stuff. Especially like after the case of those two girls who got murdered by the caretaker. Do you remember that case? About 2003
Yeah.
in Manchester.
Yeah.
After that, really, a lot of the laws started changing. So like you never used to have a DBS before that.
Do you want to explain what that is?
So like for any job that involves either caring for the elderly, caring for children, or in a care capacity, you've got to have a DBS. You've got to have a police check, basically.
Yeah.
So I think from memory, what I remember is I think before that you never really had those type of checks, especially if you're working with like children and adults and vulnerable adults. You never really had those checks. So with all these new acts coming in, you kind of didn't know what to do. And I wasn't that old enough to be on the teacher side of it, but I am now. But like looking at it, it's like you don't really know what to do. Plus, you don't know how you can then discipline the children because you've been doing it so many different ways beforehand, and now all these laws have come in. It's like, how do you approach it?
See, I grew up in a different age than you two, where discipline was discipline. You got the cane, you got the ruler. That was the discipline. You were taken out of this at the beginning of the school. You were taken up to the assembly, onto the main rostrum area, and you were caned if you misbehaved the day before. You were given the ruler in class. So that was our form of discipline. Plus, it kind of had a different level with the teachers. You knew what teachers you could have a laugh with, but there was a point where you knew that was it. You've overstepped the mark, or you didn't cross that line.
Yeah. Whereas now,
the discipline nowadays seems I'll verbally shout at you, but I'll shout at you, but I don't want to upset you. And to me, I say for you as a teacher, it's got to be frustrating. Because I mean, shout if a kid's a dickhead, and you shouting at them is going to make fuck all difference.
No.
But if that's the best you can do, where's the discipline involved? Especially if they're going back to their home life outside of school and getting no boundaries put down by the parents, because it can't all be set up and put on the school.
Which that's what it is nowadays. It's like it's gone from the old thing of like, say if you had a parents' evening and your teacher told your mum and dad that you were a little sod.
Always getting battered.
You get battered. But no, it's now turned to the point where like if the child is misbehaving, it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? As in us, as professionals. Where it should be the other way around. Well, what is the parent going to do about their child?
See, I stand on the point where the parents have more responsibility than the school. The school, by all means, should have set standards that they should adhere to. But fundamentally, it's the parents. It's down to the parents as a parent.
It's their parent. Yeah, it's their parenting skills, and it's like because like with us, it's like from when I started 7 years ago in this job, in this profession, you've just seen more and more and more and more being added onto schools. Where to some point, it's like for our like neglected children, we're having to feed them, make sure they've got proper food, make sure they've seem rested, care for it. It's basically like we're a second parent, and for some of them we are. I know we've gone totally off topic, but it's going to bring it back to the topic. But
yeah, but the thing is, like, you shouldn't be.
Exactly.
If the parent is having problems, by all means, they need the help and support.
Yeah, like we always offer help and support in whatever capacity we can. But
it'll probably upset someone out there, but I can well imagine there's a lot of parents out there that shouldn't be. They're more interested in getting their, okay, they're probably getting the drugs, getting their alcohol, having a sleep in because they were up all night, than getting the child ready for school, feeding the child, and making sure he's safe for the day. Now, that to me, sometimes that type of parents needs the law to go at them.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it should be a team effort because teachers are trained to teach children, discipline the children, do all this kind of stuff with the children, whereas parents aren't trained. They work it out.
Sorry, that's me.
No.
Passing the buck. No,
No,
you're
no.
just passing it on to somebody else.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is they're not trained. They figure it out as they go, and you're not going to have amazing parents. Sometimes you're going to have good parents. But I feel like it's about the parents, and the school working together, not just one person doing one thing or the other person. It needs to be tit for tat. Like, do you know what I mean? It can't just be on just one side.
There are only so many things as professionals that we can physically do in our power. But the parent has to take responsibility. Now, I've worked with some children and some parents who fantastic people, but struggle a little bit, which is fine. But then you get some
mistakes.
But then you get some other parents who, well, not children, but you get some other parents who are, you can blatantly see that whatever help you're going to give them, they're not going to accept, or they're not going to take on board. So it's not necessarily that we have to teach them discipline. We do, but that should already be instilled in the child before they come to us.
Yeah, like school.
That's not our job in the initial years of that child's life. The families should be instilling the discipline, the right and the wrong, and a lot of children don't get that anymore. Which is why you've got these boundaries that, like Ian said, you could see. If you step the mark, you've stepped the mark. These kids are stepping the mark and going further and further to the point where we're getting stressed because there's been so many days I've been stressed because I don't think I can do my job because of how that child's acting. And that's not on me. I'm using whatever tools I've got to get that child back down to focusing. Now, some children do have, like you said, you've got the Asperger's. Some children have the ADHD. That's fine. But even, I don't know how you're going to take this, but even you have standards of behaviour of where you can push things. Am I right or am I wrong?
You know what's right and wrong.
But do you know, do you know the right and the wrong between things?
Well, now, yes, when I was a kid, sometimes I'd do something wrong or sometimes really wrong, and it'd be like 2 days later I'll go. When someone's explained it or not explained it, 2 days later I'll go, oh, I shouldn't have done that because that's why they were all mad.
Okay. So you can take that for being your medical condition. Yeah?
Wait, say again.
Can you take that because of your medical condition? That's why your like thought process was delayed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. On the other hand, right, that's fine. Perfectly fine. You can understand that, which you work around it. We've got strategies to work around that. That's fine. But when you get children who haven't got those boundaries and push and push and push and then come back down and then again push and push and push and push and push, it really grates on me. It really does, because you can see inside those kids are brilliantly bright with their own little way. Behavior just really frustrates me because they can do it. They just choosing sometimes to kick up a fuss so they don't do it or whatever. But like I said, those boundaries, they know it. like now, they just push and push. They don't even know when to stop sometimes.
Because there's no repercussions coming back on them.
No, and you're not.
I'm not saying that we should go back to the point where you got the cane and you got hit with rulers. I mean, physical violence is wrong anyway. But on the flip side, it did me no one. I'm not an out violent and nasty, horrible person. It hasn't affected me that way.
No. Because like now, you're supposed to do the positive reinforcement, which is good. It does work. But you get certain children where it will not work for. Whatever you do, it will not work for. And you just have to... You just have to go back.
There, what we're going on that one is that you give the positive reinforcement in the school time. It's whether or not that's being carried on.
That's what I mean.
Once they leave them premises.
Exactly.
So what your good work that you're trying to do is blown out of the water. There's no point.
Yeah.
That's why I said it should be a team.
Which it is, like I said, we do what we can, but you know, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it should be a team. It shouldn't be just like there'll be some parents who just go school somewhere. I just take the child so I don't have to deal with them. And it's like you do as much as you can, but there's like, I feel like the parents have to care just as much as the school does.
Yeah, there's a partnership in the upbringing in that child. But if one's doing it and the others isn't, there's no point.
Yeah, there's going to be a disconnect if both aren't working together. There'll always be a disconnect either one. I know what you mean by that.
Because for that, what 9-10 months of the year, those like my 60 children are my extended family basically. Because I'll spend more time with them than I do my own family. I'll get to know them even more than I do. Which some kids you can crack. Some kids you really can crack. You get that one moment where it's like you've got them, and you can crack them.
Crack as in breakthrough, not as in crack.
Yes, not actually crack.
We don't want that with people. I got that one kid with a crack, proper backhand it was.
I'm just gonna say I've never hit a child, but yeah, like.
All right, going back on topic, the likes of the bullying. Do you ever think it can build a person?
It can which?
It can kind of build a person's character where they've had that abuse, but they kind of turn themselves around to, I don't give a shit what you said about me. I'm a good person.
I think it can go one or two ways. It can it's either the make or break you, and I will happily say that I was broken for quite a while. To be fair, only in the last 5-6 years, from all the little bits of bullying, that I've really actually come out and been like, do you know what, sod it.
Yeah,
so it's
because of me.
No, you're the bloody cause of it. But yeah, no, I'd say you can take it both ways. It all depends on if you choose to not embrace it, if you choose to fight back from it, or if you've got that strong enough character to fight back from it. Or
you don't have to physically, as Frazer said, you don't have to physically get back at the people that way. It's more of on an emotional level, on a mental level.
Well,
because most of the time when you get bullied for something, you're probably getting bullied for something that's totally out of your control. The way you look, the colour of your skin, the way you act.
Yeah,
that's not you can really.
It's just because you're not conforming to what their bit of normality is. But you can usually see, because I looked up quite a while ago of, do you know, the people who would like, no, not necessarily bully me, but would always have those comments and always have this and that. And to look back, actually, to be fair, to look back and have a nosy at what they're doing now to compare to what I'm doing, and it's just like, yeah, I kind of won out of that, because you're actually selling drugs and in prison and all
you've
this.
got nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically,
Well,
yeah.
do you know what? It's kind of strange, really, because I feel like I may have come out of school with a bit of PTSD, but at the same time, I don't know if it helped or not, but it's weird because I did see one kid that did like quite badly assault me in the toilets. Like they actually hit my head on the sink and all that. I did actually see them like 10 years later, and I forgot it was them. And I was having a conversation, and it was like a really good conversation. And then I suddenly realized who it was, and I was like, and then I actually mentioned, "Did you remember a time like when you attacked me in a toilet?" And they didn't have a clue what I was talking about. So it was kind of like the whole little. I think it's like it's you see it in movies and all that when you go like, do you know, like when somebody goes for revenge and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was just high school. It was kind of the weirdest.
But like for you,
No.
for him, that wouldn't be a traumatic event. That would just be literally,
Yeah.
like you've just said, high school. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
whereas for you, it's on the other shoe where you've had that traumatic experience, and for him, it's just been normal day routine, maybe normal day banter just for him.
Well, yeah.
Whereas
Then
for
again,
you,
I can't really say I was any better really because I can't say, oh, I never bullied anybody because technically I have bullied somebody. Because this kid, when I was in science, kept coming over to me and started saying racial stuff to me. And it was kind of like, I don't know what, I don't know when it's like bullying, like somebody bullies somebody and they bully them back or whatever, or they get their comeuppance or whatever. I don't know. But I literally just kicked him in the face and he fell on the floor and hit his head.
so
And I
that's
was
well,
like,
yeah. But did you repeatedly kick him in the face
no,
over a period of
no, no,
months?
no, 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 no. I kicked him in the face once and he fell on the floor and everybody started laughing at him. And it was at that moment I was annoyed about what he was saying, and then he was on the floor and he was injured and all that, and I kind of was like feeling like kind of guilty, and then everybody started laughing at him. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was looking around just going, huh,
So for
this is
you,
exactly what happens when it happens to me.
yeah. But for you
And
there,
kind of,
that's not bullying in your
well,
part.
That's
That's just
retaliation.
yeah,
retaliation.
that's
And
the
with
Whereas,
him saying
same, but
racist stuff, no offense, he deserves to get kicked
yeah,
in the head.
well, yeah,
I probably
but
upset people there, but
at the same time though, like, I have been suspended from school before because, do you know that kind of like, I don't know whether I wouldn't say it's an excuse, but it was kind of a mounting thing. Like the start of the day, I did get pushed downstairs. Then like throughout the day, somebody threw like a water bottle and it went all over me. And then something else happened. Then I went to PE and somebody started kicking me in the leg for whatever reason. To the point where I got to the end of the day, I just went to the form room just like that, sat down on the chair on the table, sat down at the table, and then this dude I thought was my friend, but then again it was like I tolerated him in a sense, but I did talk to him when I was in the form. He just starts doing this. So I went, stop it. And I went like that. He did it again. And then I just lost it, jumped over this table and started repeatedly punching him in the face. It wasn't the right reaction. Shouldn't have done it. Technically, that is assault, I guess. Well, yeah. But it was kind of like the whole thing is kind of the mounting thing throughout the day just pushed me so far that I just snapped and I like
see,
just started
I think
punching
on the
them.
likes of that one, it's been like with what you've been saying there, stuff has been building and building. So you've been basically
Yeah,
like a volcano. The pressure's building, building. You get no support from the school. So rightly or wrongly, you the frustration and everything burst out.
Yeah, but the interesting thing from the aftermath that I got from that was more so it. You know that it's kind of like that kind of thing of like when someone has assaulted me, it does kind of make me think, um, what if it was the same for them? Like the worst ones I knew for a fact were just doing it to hurt me, but there was a few other ones where I just, you could just tell the life wasn't a nice life. So it was kind of like
Sometimes
maybe
what you'll
that's
probably
why they did it.
find is people are joining in because it keeps them from being bullied.
Yeah.
They'll feel
Yeah.
that if they're participating, it's taking attention away from them.
Yeah.
Plus, then you also, as well, on the side of the bully, like you've just said, you kind of don't know what they're going through, and because I know sometimes when people bully, there is no reason for it. It's just something that, for whatever reason, they want to do. But for sometimes the bullying can be an acting out, a cry for help. Or
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that there's an individual getting
because there's been one or two like that I've had to deal with who have been bullying, and then when you get down to the bottom of it, just for example, mum and dad are going through a divorce. They don't know what's going on in their life. They need an outlet, and that's whereas like other people might go for a run or go for this or do whatever, binge eat, whatever.
They're taking out their aggression on someone else.
Outlet, yeah. So they're go on.
Different level of that. Do you think there's different levels of bullying?
Yes.
I mean, when does banter swap over to bullying?
I think banter goes to bullying when the person that's doing the bantering is like continuing, and the person who's receiving it sort of they're like, oh yeah. When you kind of see this happen, it's like, yeah. Go past that.
I mean,
it's not banter anymore.
You've probably seen on this one. I enjoy a good banter.
Yeah.
I like to give it. I can take it. But I've learned. I know when if I'm giving banter to someone, if they can't take it, and that's when I'll stop them. There's nothing worse than giving banter to someone and hating them. But it's a lot when you give banter to someone and they give it back.
Yeah. Because like you've seen us, like you've seen how we interact. We could give banter as good as we get. But like even like we, well,
I've had to learn.
Oh, you learn with us, but like
if you want to be in this group, we're all slightly straight, so you do have to.
But even like between me and him, we kind of know when to stop. We kind of know when. All right, enough's enough. Yeah.
No, I go for the jugular then. That's it.
But like, yeah.
No, I think because that's sometimes if you're on the outside listening into two good friends giving banter, a lot of the time it can sound aggressive and hateful. But that's where you know what level your friendships are, or what the individual can and can't take. Because I mean, unfortunately, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I know with Frazer, you can. How am I going to put this? You can sometimes understand banter, and sometimes you can't. And we know, like me and Ian, like we would happily banter with you,
rip the shit out of you, to be honest.
Yeah, rip the crap out of you. But if you weren't understanding it, we'd be like, okay,
yeah, stop it.
But, yeah.
But that's where, because I'm not getting the enjoyment out of it. Somebody's giving me banter back, and we can rip each other.
That makes sense to me.
Because like I've watched it, and sometimes when people are like trying to banter with you, like you said, there's just nothing there yet.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
Which, to be honest,
you know what?
there's no fun in that.
No. But to be fair, right? To be fair, and I know Ian will agree with this with me. Like we said, we would rip the crap out of you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as it's
But
someone
it's
from
not.
out of our circle, as soon as it's
Oh
someone
God,
out of
no.
our circle, it's like, nah, you're not allowed.
No.
You're not allowed to rip him. Not that anyone has, but
I have noticed that, and I do appreciate that.
oh god, no! If
No.
someone who doesn't know you like joins our little group and starts bantering at you, it's just like, nah.
No.
You haven't got that privilege.
You don't know the person well enough. You're not that.
Exactly.
Plus, the fact we'll find him, we'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
This is our little layers. These are our people.
Not that we condone beating people up, but yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, because
not at all.
I have noticed that because at some points I've like it'll be going on and I'll be thinking, like, what can I say that? And then they'll suddenly just it's almost like you two just say things and then they just completely move on. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, and this and I say it and it's like no one's actually received what I just said and I was like, oh, they've moved on. Okay. And then it starts to take me realise, oh, you've purposely moved them on. Right, got it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
It is, though, isn't it? I mean, it's totally off subject, but whenever you meet your mate and they're in the pub, 9 times out of 10, all right, dickhead.
yeah.
Or
Me and him do it all the time.
you slag them off. But if somebody is that not in your circle or being aggressive, and you want to be aggressive back to them, you suddenly say, mate.
Yeah.
You got mate. And it's like, you know, what? It doesn't make much sense, but yeah.
Totally contradicting what you're saying, but yeah, it makes sense.
God, yeah. Yeah.
It's all fine, it all makes sense.
But I think also, you know, the likes of the school, I think we also have to touch on there's workplace, well, being in work bullying. I've seen that go on.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, right, how can you put it? Bullying's wrong, full stop. But I do think sometimes. Oh,
No, I think you weren't supposed to see that.
was that the Milky Bar kid? Was that what we were implying?
No,
whatever.
It was just
No,
loading.
Sure.
Like, being in work, bullying goes on. Being outside, neighbours can bully people. So sometimes I think you just need to have a bit of a thicker skin. Not take everything to heart.
But then is that also how you've been brought up, though? On how you're able to take things? Because I know me and you have led different lives. Okay, you're more of a street. You're more of a street kid than me. You're
I'm
way
on
more
this.
of a street kid than me.
Yeah.
So our ways of being brought up are totally different. You've most probably been on the street having that banter early in your life, or having it with your brothers and your mum and your dad, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas like me, I really didn't till I was maybe high school ish.
Maybe that's where, with the likes of me then, where you'll take, probably both of you can take things to heart too much, where I'll just look at the individual and go, you're the dickhead, whatever.
Like certain things that people say will stick with me and the way my mind works, I tick over everything anyway. But like for me, that would stick with me for a little while. Certain things, whereas you would most of the time water off a duck's back.
Yeah, most of the time. I think, well, it's the discussions we've had before with the likes of depression. Certain things will play on my mind, and I'll roll it. I should have either acted different or did something different. But most of the time, it is a case of just, you're not affecting my life, you're in no bed. I'm not going to see you again. Because it's not a continual bullying. If it was daily or every time I see that individual, chances are I'll say harsh words to them.
I can imagine that. I'd hate to
Wait,
see that.
what kind of things did you get, Bernard?
God, I'm trying to think back to primary. I remember in primary school, when was it? 99. That's how bloody long ago it was. I remember one of the kids. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was things like name calling, tell me I couldn't sit there because I'm too fat or this or that. Just little things like that. But it was, from what I remember, it was starting to affect me academically and not my behaviour in school because I was quiet anyway. Shut up, dog. I was quiet anyway in school. I really didn't speak. Freaking hell. First 6 months I was in nursery, I never spoke a word, and when I did speak a word, they threw a party for me. So that's how quiet. That's how quiet I was. They threw a party for me because I spoke a word. He spoke a word.
No, he won't fucking shut up.
But yeah, so like, it was affecting me in some way. I can't specifically remember. I think academically it was affecting me. But I was, like, when I have things going on, I go quieter than I usually am. So I really go into myself. And that must have been what was happening then. But yeah, primary school, that's the only one I can think of. The main one that I remember. High school was... You'd say it was just typical banter. Like, I was in an all-lads school for 3 years, so you're bound to... You develop a thick skin when you're in an all-lads school. You do.
Explain your fears of showers. That's all I'm saying.
What?
Explain your fears of showers. All boys school. Okay.
Fear of showers. I had a fear of, like, toilets in general.
I never went to the toilet in school once in the 5 years I was in high school.
Neither had I.
Yeah.
I did. There was times when you just couldn't hold it, so you did. And one of the times there, the door was kicked in, and I just had a load of people just staring at me. It was not a nice time. So
That wouldn't be.
no.
Do you think sometimes though that I think as the human race we do judge other people by the way they look and the way they act?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're bound to, because it's not essentially not your normal thing, not what you perceive as a normal look. Like, because compared to the three of us, we've all got different looks, and sometimes I look at Frazer and think your look is quite out there. Which
it's kind of weird, isn't it? I like it, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. It wouldn't fit for me.
Whereas, like, I look at Frazer's look, and I'm not disrespecting her or anything in any way. I look at your look and think, too much going on. I like plain clothes. Your look is just like, wow.
Do you know what?
Because most of the time it's black.
Well, it's I like black.
Tends to wear or tend to be black outfits.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes I do look at my clothes because I've got a varied of different ones. Sometimes on the occasion I will look at my clothes and go, how can I look like a knobhead today? So I just go with it. And sometimes I just go, okay, I want to just do something cool. So if I think, like, how can I look like a knobhead today, I'll go out with, like, a Florida looking, like, palm tree shirt on, which with like load of bracelets all over me. And it's kind of like...
Do you actually realise there's probably people watching this now who've got that type of shirt going, I don't look like a knobhead. I look cool in my palm shirt.
No. Like, Florida shirt, right. But it's kind of like picking out the most gothic looking thing to go with it that just doesn't go in any way.
Well, the thing is, though, that's your individual style, and that's something you should be happy with.
No, because, like, what I've noticed is if I go out and I'm like, I'm just like, oh god, this is going to look weird and whatnot, it's like that. It doesn't work, but if I just wear it and just go, I like the day, it just works. It's confidence. If you have the confidence to wear something, then it does actually suit, I think. But then again, there are certain things that just shouldn't happen. Like,
See, but then I'm going to flip that back to your bullying, where you kind of got, as you said there, you got picked on because you were different. But now you've got more confidence in yourself as you've grown older to look different.
well, to be fair, yes, but I also do at every moment always assume I'm going to get attacked. So it's kind of like, it's one of them kind of things I've ran with, the looking different, but just always assume I'm going to get attacked. But it's kind of like I do have more confidence in the fact that if I get attacked tomorrow, I might just still dress differently.
But isn't that a bit of a stressful thing for you to go through? Of like every day that you dress up and go out, that you're going to get attacked? Is that not? Does that not put some pressure on you?
It's very stressful, but at the same time, also I don't see. It's a weird one. I prefer to have a lot of stress and like feel like I'm going to get attacked, rather than go outside and feel so uncomfortable because I don't feel like me. I'd rather feel like me. Yeah, I'd rather feel like me and just feel stressed I'm going to get attacked. It's like that's getting stressed and feeling like I'm getting attacked, and then that's like that. It's more like sometimes it's like that, and it's usually that's more. I don't want to look just regular. It doesn't work for me.
I think what I've noticed over the years is people's individual looks seems to be more, I was going to say acceptable, but they're not now. People don't tend to, I mean, when I was your, teenager and that type of thing, if you were out of the norm, and you're way out of the norm, you did get funny looks. When I was a teenager, punk and that type of era was coming through with the beacons, the clothes, and that did kind of stand out, and everyone was like, "What the fucking hell is that?" When nowadays, I've noticed people are more. They don't seem to care as much what you look like.
Yeah, because
if someone walks down the street and they're not in the normal clothes or what people perceive as normal, 9 times out of 10 people won't even bat them an eyelid.
Because I remember 20 years ago, like when you had a lot of like goths and emos about. I do remember, and I don't know whether this was just my way of thinking at that time. It's just like, but for me, that wasn't my norm, and it was strange to see them. Do you know, like in Quiggins or hang around on the streets or walking through town or anything. But you did tend to stay because it's not your norm. You wouldn't go out dressed like that, so you're wondering like why other people would. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do get that.
Whereas to be fair, it could be the other way around for them, and they're looking at us thinking, "Why are you dressed like that? Like, are you dressed in your little trashy bottoms and all that?"
To be fair,
God, the North Face sheep.
Well, Ian I do agree with the whole not batting an eye, but at the same time, also I do have a lot of eyes battered, and on the occasion I'll be standing somewhere and I'll see in the corner of my eye, I'll just see this. And then, right, and then at the look, I look at them and go. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm clearly ending up somewhere. I don't know why. Like, I was in Athletics Palace, which is like a goth kind of shop in Manchester.
I like it in there.
Oh, it's so nice.
Is that like their version of Quiggins?
Yeah. I need to go back. That's nice in there. But yeah, I was just looking out this window, and then this woman was just taking a picture of these clothes, and then I turned around and she just goes, "Can I take pictures of you?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And she was like, "Okay, just do that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, and then she was like, just put your hands on your hips like a superhero. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, so I got quite a few pictures. To this day, I don't know where they ended up, but it's kind of like the way I have combated the whole constantly being victimized and like attacked and whatnot in school is embrace the difference. But it's kind of like I'm anxious every day, but it's kind of like that's the way I help my own anxiety is by going. If I feel like if I feel like quite anxious sometimes going out, I seem to just go more with the whole kind of make myself look like a knobhead because then I know
You'll
why
give
people
them,
are staring at me.
yeah,
So instead
you
of
give
just
them
like,
a
are they
reason.
staring at me? I know why they're staring at me, so it helps.
Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm not like a lot of people there, but I I like people's individuality.
I've
Yeah,
come
I
to
might be
appreciate
like
it more.
the nerdy stuff and fit into that category with the way I dress
Yeah.
sometimes.
I
But
think I think the older
makes
I've
it more
got,
interesting.
I know I've appreciated it more. You know,
Mm.
you've looked at someone and just thought, actually, yeah, I get why you're doing that now.
Yeah.
But I think that's just as a society anyway, especially with like, um, especially because there's that many now different categories for different people, especially with like what
No, go on.
I was gonna say, especially with like pride and everything like that, people coming out as like different sexualities and stuff. It's kind of more being the norm of everyday life, whereas like 20 years ago, like you'd be very seldom to like come out as gay or dress differently. Or well,
It does go on still, but I don't
I know
think
it
to the
does go on still,
extent
but you
it
look
did.
at it now and it's less of a stigma. It's less
Yeah. So,
it's it's more acceptable in a way.
see, I don't like the word acceptable. I just see it as being it's more the person being normal to themselves.
Yeah, but I mean, like as society,
As
you look at it.
society, yeah, yeah,
That's what I meant. Not for the person.
yeah.
I meant as a society, it's acceptable to be like that now. You find to be like that. There's no real judging like there would have been 20, 30 years ago. Excuse me a sec. This
Well,
bloody dog.
well, I kind of feel like the judging is more on the judges now. So, like, I suppose if somebody goes, well, like, I don't know, where someone looks at me and goes, you look stupid. If they say it once to me, I will think, okay, why do I look stupid? And if I want to change whatever it is that makes me look stupid, I will or won't. But I feel like the bullying part is, you look stupid. You look stupid. Do you like the repeated
Yeah.
kind of thing? But interestingly enough, I think we're now into the era of someone goes, you look stupid. I'll be sitting down there going, can I change what it is that makes me look stupid? But then again, there'll be somebody else who's got nothing to do with it who'll go, why have you just said that they're stupid? You're a terrible person. You shouldn't say that because you're a terrible person for saying that. Why have you done this? And it's kind of like me, the person who's just trying to either help or not help. Kind of like
Plus, the
people are
thing is, as
bullying
well,
people
as a
for
person, you
bullying.
should never change for anybody else. If you want to change something about yourself, whether it be your physical appearance, your attitude, the way you dress, you need to be the person that decides you want to do that. You shouldn't feel
Exactly.
pressured by others.
Exactly. It's just like whether I want to change it or not, I have the decision to make it. But it's kind of like anyone who says I look stupid. If they say it once, I'm fine. But it's kind of like if they repeat it, that's bullying. But I feel like if somebody hears that and says shouldn't have said they look stupid because that's wrong, and then they'll keep on that person. So it's kind of got to the point where people are bullying people for bullying.
Mm.
If you get what I mean?
Mm.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, they
I'm the type
said
of
this.
person
We've got to
that'll
make their
do
life
something to
hell to show them.
spite somebody else.
What? Go on.
I'm the type of person that'll do something to spite someone. If someone said, I had it once where I packed in smoking and I was getting because I decided I was bored smoking. I felt like I've had enough of it. And then every so often, I'll have relapses, I'll have a few cigarettes, and then there's someone there go, you need to pack it in again, you need to pack it in again. My mentality is like, fuck off. I'll do it just to spite that person having a go at me to tell me to stop.
I've got that as well. I totally get that mentality.
I'll do the opposite just to annoy you. Just because who the fuck are you to keep telling me? It's my choice, my life. If I want to live it some way, and okay, technically smoking can affect others, but
Yeah, but no offense, you live alone. You
I'll
not
rub
really
it in.
around.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're not really around people who, would be around when
Not
you're
breathing
smoking
in.
anyway.
Yeah.
Right, on that note, we're going to bring that discussion to a close, and we're going to move on to our lovely Ian segment, because he loves it so much.
Oh, this is going to be
He just wants to do it, so we're going to put him on his own, like we always do. There he
Fucking hell, there
is.
I am.
Before you say that, I'm
Okay.
kind of excited. I've never seen this before.
Who the fuck's playing music?
Me. I'm trying to get you milky.
Why? Just stop it. Right, what I'm going to talk about tonight, which is kind of pissed me off a little bit. You might notice if you look around the background of the room, I'm a little bit nerdy into horror, comics, superheroes, that type of thing. And out at the moment, Netflix have just decided I'm reading this off onto the screen, they're doing a live action series. And they've released a picture. Now, if you go on anywhere on the internet, put in Resident Evil Netflix, and you'll get this picture coming up. Oh my god, it looks like a failed Spice Girl group. You really need to see it. There's nothing. Okay, starting on that one. Awesome Resident Evil fan. Love the games. Films, not so much. Games, amazing. And they had their own settings. They were set in a world which was a bit grungy, grimy. Not the nicest place to be, especially once the outbreaks happened. Now, if you look at this picture and these individuals, there's not much really intimidating about them. And the characters they picked, no idea. I've got a fucking clue who they are. Because if you go for the Resident games, there's awesome characters in that one. Ada Wong, Claire Redfield, Leon, Chris, and I'm going to go on to one that's called Albert Wesker, who in the Netflix live action has been race swapped for some reason. I don't understand it. The actor who's playing it is Lance Reddick. Fucking awesome actor. Loved him in the films that he's been in. I'm a big John Wick fan. I loved his character in that, and I loved the way he progressed through the films. But couldn't he just brought out a new character for him? Did he have to dig out characters and race swap them? I don't understand why it happens. It's annoying. I think the actor himself, if he'd have been a new character, could have brought his own personality to it, and his acting abilities could have made that new character awesome, and the storyline with it could have been amazing. Okay, I've had a few people saying to me, well, give it a chance, wait till it comes on and see what you think. To be honest with you, no. It's not for me to give these TV shows. It goes the same with video games. It goes with movies. You're there to entice me to come and watch something. It's not my job to give you a chance. It's your job as entertainment to make me want to watch. And where if it's just gender swapping someone from an iconic game franchise, or race swapping an individual, which they're doing at the moment with Superman. To me, it's failing that individual character. Well, failing the writers to be able to come up with a new character that can give that presence. I mean, the DC, the Marvel universes, there's black characters there that are fucking awesome and could have their own TV movie franchises instead of just race or gender swapping. And then it all depends on what the storyline is, which nowadays, for some reason, tends to be woke as fuck. I'm not even going to mention Batwoman for a change. But please just stop it. There's no need to keep carrying on like this. And go back to the other two. And I didn't mention Disney.
You've just mentioned it.
Yeah, but not in any negative way, apart from just saying Disney.
I've got a question for you. Okay, about you mentioned the race swapping between characters, well, not characters, between like the actors and whatever.
Yeah.
Right. There's TV series, a mini TV series that's just aired. I don't know whether we touched on this the other week. We might have done. But they did a TV series about Anne Boleyn on Channel 5, I think.
Okay, not just a character, but history.
I was just going to say to you, no disrespect to the actress who's played Anne Boleyn. I've not watched it yet. I've got it recorded. I'm going to watch it this week. But because I want to get Fraser's take on this, like, if you're doing a historical, factual program, and the person you're doing the program about is of a certain race or a certain color or a certain ethnicity, should that not then be portrayed by an actor, or actress of the same ethnicity?
Yeah, of course it should be if it's historical.
Because no offense, Anne Boleyn was
the uproar if they did a Malcolm X film and stuck a white guy in that one.
Yeah.
Imagine fucking Hugh Grant doing that one. Let's get free.
Exactly.
Deservedly, they'd be fucking uproar.
Yeah, because no offense, she was born in what 1501 in Kent, of all places. So,
from my mind, big black community.
Because I just wanted to get your opinion and Fraser's opinion while he's on. Of, would you not want?
It's race swapping and gender swapping to tick woke and SJW boxes.
See,
that's the way I look at it.
This is the thing I liked about J.K. Rowling. When she thinking of the Harry Potter movies from, I don't know whether it was a rumor or whether it's actually factual, but she wanted all of the characters to be portrayed by people of their background. So like when they had the Russian students come in, the main Russian student was Russian. The actual actor was Russian. If they were American, they had to be played by an American. Kind of give it props for that because, like, you know, if you've built on that character so strong, you want them to be portrayed as you want them to. But like for that historical, factual, actual thing with his pictures and paintings of what she looks like, why would you? Why do you need to swap the race? Why? And like I said, it's no disrespect on the actress and her acting ability. It's nothing to do with that. It's just
especially if it's. I mean, going back to this one, Albert West. If you're going back onto the Resident Evil games and that one, there was no need to race swap them. This landscape Reddick as a fucking awesome actor. Surely they could have just brought in a new character. They didn't have to jump on the bandwagon of somebody else's another character's name. They could have done another character who could have been just as outstanding as the other one.
Yeah.
But it just feels like sometimes it's cheap little jabs or cheap little things just to like, oh, we can do this. There's no thought process. And that to me kind of scares me over the storyline. Are they going to be that kind of lackadaisy over that?
Yeah.
Because I'd say if you look at these other actresses, who might be awesome, but to me, maybe I do need to see some. They don't kind of fit into what Resident Evil sums up to the fans.
Yeah, it's not kind of what. From what you're saying, it's not kind of going off the traditional Resident Evil that we know of.
Well,
fair enough. If you want to swap it, do it in a different setting. Do it as different characters. Build up your own story.
I'll be fine with different characters, yeah. Because, like, I've always liked the Resident Evil series, but when they did their all, like, Resident Evil, I think it was 7, the Bioshock thing. The Biohazard. And it was completely different characters and completely different. And the way they did it, I felt they revived the whole entire thing. It was really good.
Like the films. Because the anime tend to use the characters from the games. But I think you do see that nowadays with a lot of franchises out there that have been destroyed or taking the piss out of. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who is not a problem with it being female. I just think the storylines were shite. I thought
the problem.
It opened up a whole new world of possibilities and different storylines that could have been looked at as a female point of view, but they just tended to
I think the problem is, so far for me, is when it comes to, like, the female characters, for this new generation, new generation of feminists, they're either completely perfect or just really obnoxious and just not a nice, role model and whatnot. And it's kind of like, why am I supposed to like this person?
You just described the last lot of Star Wars films.
Yeah, exactly.
Where
what I'm saying.
he was somebody like, awesome, fucking amazing, could do everything perfect. And
that's what I'm saying.
This bitch who never seems to fucking do anything. We're always told to save the city, but we haven't actually seen her do anything.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Apart from go out with a drug dealing girlfriend, which is kind of weird for someone that's saving the city.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember that because it's been a while since I watched it. But it's kind of like, it seems to me like it's like either I'm wondering why do I like this character, or it's kind of like you've been able to do all this. The only problem was society that was stopping you, but you're completely perfect. So where was how am I supposed to grab onto your story properly?
I think that's the problem nowadays. A lot of characters haven't. There's no build up. There's no where did that person come from? How did they get to it? There's no development. It's kind of like they're thrown in. Or if you've watched the new Loki series,
don't give me spoilers. I haven't watched it.
I'm not giving you a spoil, but for the entire
because there's not happens. That's how we can't spoil it.
What happens? Absolutely. Fuck all interest. Apart from a lot of sitting down and having a good old chin wag with each other. I don't know where it's going.
Well, I honestly don't mind that considering it's a TV show, and also I don't always assume. See, even though it's superhero things, I don't just expect there's going to be a superhero fight every moment. I like a good conversation.
Oh God, no! Don't get me wrong. I like context and adding to the story. But
yeah, exactly.
Fucking tell me what it is, and don't just kind of like, Loki, why are you a bad person? Why do you enjoy hating people? Fuck off. It's like, No.
Actually, you know, if it's a
I
TV
think
show,
we might need to cut this to an end before he gets us in trouble.
Yeah. I think. Plus, I've got things to do. Right, it's been brilliant chatting with you, Sue.
Right, we
And I
will
hope
see
people
you
actually.
next
So don't
week.
forget,
actually-
subscribe, share, like it.
Yes, please subscribe, share, like, comment, and spread the word, and like our pages and spread our pages. Yes, Fraser.
Oh, well, you know, I was gonna just ask, like, what was the best and worst thing to ever happen to you that you remember in school?
Leaving.
Because of the topic and all that, I just figured there's got to
In
be
a
an
way, it
element
was
of-
sandwiched as well. It was kind of too best because it was suddenly like, oh my god, I don't have to do this anymore. And worse because there was a lot of people there I know I probably wouldn't keep in touch with.
Yeah.
I suppose for me the best thing was the actual nice teachers deciding that I was the only
No
one.
such thing as a nice teacher.
Yeah, because like a few nice teachers decided I was the only. But you know when you like caution off the school, so you're only allowed on the yard kind of thing, and in
Yeah.
the dinner hall. Quite a few of the nice teachers was like, "Well, you're allowed to go wherever you want, where there's no other children, because well, you know, they can pick on you. So you're allowed to have the run of the school. You're not restricted to wherever you go." That was the best thing. Then the worst thing, actually, do I finish off with the worst thing? Actually, Bernard can go after me. I got hit in the head with a chisel. So there was that. Your turn, Bernard. Finish off with a positive.
Yeah, follow the chisel.
You can't just leave me on the chisel.
No,
All I'm imagining now is just this like ninja star chisel just going for.
Oh, no. It wasn't like that.
Go on, big boy.
It was sort of like some kid just got a chisel with a little bit of a hammer and just went tink on my head, the back of my head. Positive, Bernard. It's up to you.
Do you want me to start with me negative then?
Can do, yeah.
Yeah. God's sake, can I pay for therapy for this? Worst thing, I don't know. Getting a firework thrown at us was quite traumatic. Best thing, I'd say drama. Doing the drama clubs.
Oh, you've always been a drama queen. I've seen you from so many izzy fits.
Hot marshmallows.
That's the one. That's for another day and another story.
That's a different story. Right, fellas, it's been nice chatting to you. And we will
How
sign
did my
off.
day
Remember, very well. We might ask you back.
No. Because the rest of them will all be less than an hour.
Hey, this is our longest
Now, it's
one.
been brilliant chatting to you, and I hope everyone enjoys watching this. If you leave any comments, dislike,
Remember to like, share,
Acknowledge the
comment,
fact that we're here.
and spread our word. See you soon, fellas.
bye now.
See you.